Hey guys, welcome back to Grim Reaper for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Today we're going to go over my HYDRA run for Nightmare, and we're going to have a look at my team and the builds. It's a fairly whalish team, but it's not super bad. I'll give you a quick glimpse at the team. That's Clan Boss, Grim. So all the way down here. Now I quit it around about 44, I never really push it to the full key. I manual to like the top chest, and first time try, so I'm not bothered about manualing, to be honest. Normally I'm in and out first time when I manual, so I don't actually mind sit there and manualing HYDRA. This team could auto if I drop Turaku 2-pack and then bring Yugo, so you can easily make this a very friendly auto team, right? Anyway, let's go into the run and the builds, and then I'll come back and we'll go over some tips and stuff like that. Right, so here we are. This is the team that we're running. We got Cifi in the leads. We have Krisk, Venus, Tupac, Husk, and Royal Guard, right? So let's talk about replacements and the optimal way of making this team more free to play friendly, which I will do next week as well, or to make this team better, right? Let's talk about the roles and stuff like that, so you guys can then try and build a similar team if you don't have all these champions and stuff like that. So we have Cifi in lead, right? So she can be replaced with Duchess, Pythion. Pythion's a great replacement, especially for the resist lead as well for Krisk, which is what we're going to second. Cifi is also built in protection and also in high resistance as well, but fast as possible, as well as giving ability stats, right? So again, who else can place her? I suppose Fawn, Samuel on this rotation. If you didn't want to try and run a Cifi, right? So you could do someone in a lead like Royal Guard, for example, and then try your luck without a revive, right? So if Wrath comes up, you're gonna be screwed. However, if you have a really good Krisk build, you might stay alive. Krisk can be replaced with multiple champions. So obviously the main ones are probably Skull-Lord, Fawn from Sacred Order, who was a fusion champion. We also got champions like UK in a Provoke set, or there's like a ton of champions that could do that role. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anymore. But anyone that has a Provoke, anyone that can also has good base resistance, because ideally his job is to lock down DK, but also to bait mischief, right? So if you don't have block buffs, or if you don't get block buffs, then you can do your best to kind of bait him into hitting you. In this team I have 3 champions with high resistance, and you'll see them build shortly, and it also helps have a really good resistance aura as well. Venus's job is to bring defense down on weekend to allow me to do more damage. This rotation was a bit harder because of the passive of DK and the guy with the reflection. I can't remember his name as well. This gentleman over here. He also that's like passives that stop me doing so much damage, that caps me. So defense down, weaken, HE burn as well for Blythe. If you can pull it down before he puts up the poison clouds, will cancel out poison clouds. So that's super nice and something to really be aware of. Obviously we got Brimstone on everyone except from Cifi, but Cifi is also arena build. Tupac the Wanderer is in here because her passive is really nice against Torment, and she also brings block buffs, increased defense, speed up, decreased speed, which is quite consistent on A1. You can see that I was slowing down the heads of each one with A1, and she also brings block buff. So if I get 3%ed on any of my resist boys, or whatever you want to call them, like Krisk or anything, then we have block buffs to deal with that. She also brings a AoE decrease attack as well. Husk is in here for damage, so it's a DPS role, but he also has high accuracy as a second option to lock down DK and stop him cleansing, really. Royal Guard is the main DPS in here. You can either go with Royal Guard, Quizimir, anyone that can do high damage in a short amount of time, even a Geo. Bear in mind I've got a Venus in here, that's why I'm not running a Geo. Who else could you use? Husk again. There's a lot of viable options. I definitely say for Nightmare and Brutal, you should be using enemy max HP damage and not tap based nukers, because tap based nukers are quite squishy and hard to keep them alive. You do want to make sure you also have got Life Drinker. Life Drinker is really important to keep them boys healthy, and they will heal all the way back up if they have a big damage potential. So let's go into builds then, and let me show you what's going on in the builds. So Sifi is mainly in protection because of arena. All I do just change the banner. I mainly just use it for live arena and then go second teams. Protection could be kind of nice to just stop people taking my buffs, but it also has a use for a bit of RNG on my side for mischief as well, so to stop him trying to take my buffs. You don't have to have protection, you could just run a full fast CF, it's definitely not needed. But I have all my fastest gear on my arbiter. You can see that we're not fully glyphed, but on everything, so there's still a lot to work on here. But 75,000 HP was definitely enough. 4,300 defense. You could definitely come down because she does keep on a lot of defense on herself with increased defense, 317 speed. Now you could drop her all the way down to like 270. She just needs to go fast. So resistances, again, you can drop her to about 390 with her passive. With aura. You do want to try to get towards 500 for nightmare, so what you could drop it down to 420 to be like at that 3% consistently. Accuracy obviously doesn't matter. The masteries are arena base, for HYDRA base, so I have unshakable. So that's also something to kind of note. Not great for arena, but we'll definitely have to think about changing them. Okay, so let's go into the Chris. Chris is probably the hardest person to build. As you can see, I've already took some gear off him. My apologies. Let me just go and grab it. So I only use him once a week, and at the moment I've been playing around the builds and somehow broke my DPS, but this is what his stats look like. So no, that's the wrong one. Bear me a second. Should have, I know his gear off by heart, so I definitely know this. So as you can see, 380 speed, so he wants to be the slowest in the comp, so he always keeps buffs on himself. I have 418 accuracy. I have 522 resistance, which is massively overkill. But I don't always use CF with Chris, that's why it has so much resistance. And then 4,000 defense, and then 58,000 HP. So it's definitely worth to point out. I'm going to show you these gloves on the side. So we have accuracy and resistance and HP. Now you could go defense, but then you need to make sure you go HP here. So I've got speed, I've got resistance and accuracy. Obviously I'm not glyphing the speed because I don't want to break the speed tune. So then we got speed boots with resistance and accuracy. And then we have more speed, accuracy and resistance, and then speed, resistance and accuracy again, and then resistance, accuracy and speed again. And then down here we've got a bit of refresh, we've got a bit of HP with resistance, and then we have another one here. You could just keep going refresh if you wanted, depends on what rotation. War Master is a tier 6 option. I'll be honest, I don't think these masteries are the best, so I definitely might want to think of redoing these. Probably, no, okay, so I would probably go down the accuracy side. It looks like I've gone down the resistance side, probably because I was struggling at resistance when I first built him to do this job. This is a very old build, so I definitely haven't changed him that much. Like, the only thing I'd like to see on him now is just level 2 brimstone, so I can get that 400 with defense. Okay, so then we'll go and look at my two Hon. So her job is obviously to also be a bait, so I want good accuracy and good resistance on her. Again, you can see that my stats are like overkill for sure, but also you want to make sure that she's faster, and to make sure that she's faster than your Venus, right, or Hugo, or whoever that you can use to put up debuffs on the head. So again, we have a brimstone. We could use accuracy aura and then scale resistance really high, and then use accuracy aura if you don't have a CFE. So that's something to bear in mind. We have War Master as a tier 6 option. I think these masteries are perfectly fine, nothing to really worry about. And again, yeah, so what I wanted is if Mischief doesn't go for Krisk, he'll go for one of the two, because they both have blood shield accessories, as you can see. Well overkill on the accuracy, well overkill on the resistance. Bit of a overkill on speed a little bit, and then defense and HP is fairly fine. As you see, 3,700 defense with increased defense was nothing for really to worry about. See if he has increased defense, she has increased defense, so I really wasn't worried about defense. And then we're gonna go over to Venus. My Venus is a +1, so it's lovely to see. Does help with stats a little bit. So these are the masteries. Again, we have War Master as a tier 6 and then accuracy. I think with this build, I would actually probably take Cyclone Violence as well. And then I'm not too sure why she's got Blood Shield on her. That is something that I need to remove because she hasn't got resistance on her. So not too sure why she's got Blood Shield. That's definitely something I've been playing around with, most likely. And you can see that all I want is good HP. Again, defense fairly low, but 2,200 is fairly enough with Krisk. And with the increased defense as well, we have 100% critical rate and then 220 critical damage. Then we actually bring in 480 accuracy. So it might be worth me to play around the accuracy a little bit, maybe bring the resistance up. That's something that I might look at when I start doing HYDRA on the live arena, and then maybe I'll start looking at accuracy and resistance first, just so maybe I can pump up survivability and then more critical damage and then more attack on her, and then that will help me with a lot of my champions as well, like Krisk as well and stuff like that. So it's definitely a lot for me to work out there. And to be honest, if I get resistance and accuracy up, it'd be nice to get them up on these two as well. So this is my main royal guard. I have a 5-star blessing on him, so I'm lucky enough to get a little bit of extra HP and critical damage, which is nice. I did get a 4-star, but then I also bought the 5-star because the 5-star wasn't that expensive, right, but compared to legendary. So I normally get like enough gold stuff going on there. So as you can see, we've got critical damage set with relentless set. I think we have also a 2-piece refresh as well, so I'll just make him a little bit faster than my Krisk. Same with Husk as well, that's really important to note. We got really good HP, so I got like 51,000 HP, is quite tanky royal guards, but we don't care about attack anyway because attack doesn't really do anything to his damage, and we know this. His defense is a bit weak, but again, it is a royal guard. And then critical damage would be 260 without the blessing, right? So a bit of overkill on the critical rate, so maybe that's something we could look at in the future when I rebuild him. I think with royal guards, masteries are really important to get right. I don't know what's going on too much here. I think I just took random things. But critical rate here, life drinker here, cycle of violence here, War Master here, they're like the main 4 you want. So the life drinker to heal you back up, cycle of violence to get the cooldown on the A2 nuke, and the War Master as well. So with this one I turn off the A3, so if it does proc, it will mainly proc on the A2. And obviously with the relentless and refresh as well, it definitely helps to get a bit of extra RNG as well. And this is my beautiful Husk. As you can see, we have a triple refresh, so I even took critical damage on a 5-star one and stuff like that. And then we have a perception set and a relentless set, right? So we got HP chest, we got speed boots. I'm looking for good critical rate, good critical damage. A lot of this stuff is not even glyphed, so there's definitely a lot of potential here still. Again, I want him 1 feet speed faster than my Royal Guard, sorry, my Krisk, good HP. We want to make sure we crit cats, so obviously this is a really old build. This is something that I might need to look into changing a little bit. Critical damage is only at 198, but it is what it is. It still does potentially good damage, and then 340 accuracy as well. So we will say I will keep looking out for my 4th blessing on him, because I think that this would be amazing to get for him. So that's something to bear in mind. And then masteries as well, is that same as Royal Guard. You'll make sure you take the cycle of violence, really important. Life drinker, really important. And then we have War Master down here as well. So not the best masteries. I need to do a lot of resetting. I'll be honest, I'm just so tight on the resources. I'm always a bit of a tight bomb. People always say it on my stream all the time when I've got so much silver and I don't use them. But there you are, guys. There's my 1 key HYDRA for this week. I will post a similar video to this next week with a similar team, but I'll be using more epics, stuff like that, and showing you how to make it a bit more better, a bit more free to play friendly. We'll try look at swapping out Krisk maybe for someone else. Maybe we'll look at a fusion champion or something like that. Let me know down in the comments if you are trying to do your best in Nightmare, HYDRA, or doing HYDRA at all. I think brutal, hard, and normal are really good targets for any in-game accounts to try and do on a weekly basis, because there's a lot of perks to it. It's definitely a bit of an RNG fest. Like, you can have a really amazing team, but you then still just struggle with RNG, and it can be a bit frustrating. But overall, it's like a love and a hate relationship with HYDRA, with myself, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat as me. Hopefully you guys like this type of content. Please like and comment and subscribe. It really does help to support the channel. And then keep an eye on the channel as well, because we should be posting a account giveaway soon in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye on that. Until then, hopefully you have a great weekend, and peace.